How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are back on the tier maker with my friends over here on the live stream, which we stream every Wednesday, and today is a Wednesday, so we stream it, and they are here, right here below me. So say hi, welcome in, like the video, subscribe. We are just gonna dive in. You've seen a lot of tier lists up until now, but this one matters because it is very good. It is a very good tier list. And we're just gonna start it off. And one of the decks that has disappointed me the most is Infernoble Knights. Which, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm a little bit tempted to put this deck in Rogue. But I'm not gonna. I personally think that this deck is very good. It has a lot of merits. It does not really lose to hand traps in the conventional sense. Besides, like, Nibiru Imperm is, like, it shuts down every deck. It's very good going first uninterrupted. It has a very good board. It's very immune to board breakers as well. But I think this deck takes, one, a very skilled pilot, and two, it takes really good matchups. I cannot justify it being 1.5. Just as I cannot justify putting Branded in 1.5. I think Branded Despia is currently probably like a high tier 2 deck. And I'll explain why. The Branded Fusion engine is currently just stronger as an engine for Chimera, which we're going to talk about next. And I think the fact that Branded has a hard time running a lot of non-engine slots, it can do well probably in like a Bestial Synchro Link kind of build. But I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's capable to compete with like no non-engine at all in this meta. It's very, very hard. So I'm going to be putting Branded in tier 2 currently. Hopefully in Dortmund, we're going to see some innovations to the deck. But if you are planning to run Branded Fusion, I think the superior engine is probably Chimera. I finished second place in the regional last week or this week. I don't know when it was, but during the last weekend, it was Sunday, I think. This deck is very good. This deck is extremely good. It runs a lot of non-engine. It deals with your opponent's hand. So it takes cards out of their hand. It can play things like Crossout that really punish your opponent and makes them like lose more cards out of their hand. It's just a very, very strong engine. And currently, since it's not that popular, it is doing well with good pilots, excluding myself. Just taking advantage of good matchups against Pearly and Unchained. This deck is very solid against those decks. OTK potential, a lot of interaction on your opponent's turn. And I think the deck is very promising at the moment. I think high 1.5, probably the best in 1.5 in my opinion. Another 1.5er I think is Dragon Link. People make the mistake of thinking that this deck is dead. It is absolutely not dead by any means. The engine exists like fully. Spheres is an amazing card. It still has access to Magna Mode through a lot of other cards. And I'm just going to be honest, this deck is still very powerful. We're going to probably see a lot of it. Maybe with some innovations. I really don't know. But I think that Dragon Link is definitely still alive, and I think it's definitely a 1.5. Rika, I think it kind of struggles in this format for some reason. I mean, the board is really good, and it's very hard to break. But on the other hand, if this is a hand trap format, then probably like it's gonna have a hard time against like a player who knows like how to hand trap. Nibiru is very popular, and usually you will get nibbed, possibly like before you establish Princess or Therions. And also like combined with other things like Droll that could be playable, then it might have a hard time. I'm gonna say that in the hands of a good player, I think it might be higher up than Infernobles. Maybe not. Maybe it's something like this. Like going first, the Infernoble board I think is better. This really hurts me to say, but Synchron is it's not it. I think it's not even Rogue. The deck is as bad as it was before, which is very sad because it got a lot of support, like a substantial amount of support in a set that is called Duelist Nexus, with the cover card being like a Synchron monster. Unplayable. Nothing more to say. Very disappointed in that. I got myself a core, but it just doesn't hold water. I think Labyrinth is somewhere here. The deck is unharmed at all. Like, it's still very, very good, I think. But I think Chimera has a good matchup against it. Trying not to be too biased, I feel like there is very good probability that you win your matchup again, unless you get EV'd. But even then, you can still continue playing and establish like more spells in hand, even after EV. I think it's still a very good deck. Does have Unchained variants as well. Going to be really interesting to see what happens with Labyrinth. Mathmech is Rogue. I think that even if it tops, no, maybe it's actually, I think, tier 2. It still has a very powerful engine and a lot of ways to get to circular. I think people are still going to play it. I think it's better than Rika, if I'm being honest. Like, Rika only shows up once every blue moon in like WCQs and like European championships and stuff. I think that Rika is worse than Mathmech. Mathmech has a very strong engine. Rescue Ice, I think, is going to go here. Rescue Ice is a good deck. Don't get me wrong. It is just missing that one piece. I'm thinking I'm actually going to put it here. It's going to be crazy in Age of Overlord. Just be ready for that. Remember that I said it. And it's I promise you that the deck is going to be substantially better. Right now, it has a very good board. It has very good recursion every turn. But I think that it's missing like the oomph which Diabellstar gives it. It's super weak to Imperm. It just dies to one hand trap, and you cannot justify like, granted is in tier 2. Don't say that like it does to one Ash. This doesn't have a backup play. It has a good one card combo. I think it could be like high tier 2 maybe, in my opinion. Or maybe it's like this. We'll see. I think it's like this ish. Striker, unfortunately, just don't. Sword Soul is just don't. It's probably better than these two though. It's completely like, I don't know. At this point, it's not like, it's power crept to oblivion. Pearly is one of the decks to beat, in my opinion. I don't think it's like a surprise to anybody. The deck is extremely strong, has a lot of support. Thank God Delicious is in 1. Thank God Delicious is in 1, because it's like, I don't know. If that was a 3, I mean, I would rather have Sleepy. But it's a very resilient deck, very good. The engine around it is just so good. And it's proving to be like a skillful deck that good players will do really well with. It also won a YCS in the team YCS in South America. It's definitely one of the decks to beat. And I'm gonna honestly say that Sprite could be roguish at the moment. Depends on where people take it. I feel like it's not like, we just had Cancun, even though we had Kashtira at full power. Sprite, no, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. I think it should be something like, this actually. What do you guys think about that? Because like, Rogue doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad deck, but it is going to be a deck that is going to be super niche, played in very low quantities, and that it will take a good player to run it good. I think that's pretty solid. Like, it's hard for me to put Sprite in Rogue, but it is very easy for me to put Kashtira in Rogue, because the deck is going to take a turn now. It's going to be played as a stun engine, and people are already playing that. Full Kashtira names and like a lot of stun traps. I think that the deck is even though it's going to be good, it is a rogue deck in my opinion because it takes a turn for stun now, and I'm just not going to put a stun deck as a tier 2 deck. Like even if it could get wins, it's just not going to happen in my opinion. And Unchained is the best deck currently. Like what else do we have to say? The deck is amazing. It's doing really well. It's very good. It is good against hand traps. It can play around board breakers. It has a very good matchups against a lot of things. It eliminates a lot of the classic hand traps that you would use to like pop things, making it really hard to break their board. It's not a surprise. This deck is the best deck. We'll have to see what this deck does. It's probably a low tier 2. I'm gonna be interested to see like what it actually does. These all could go here. Now Flandreese. Hey, you just won a YCS. I don't care. I do not care that it won a YCS. This deck is a rogue deck, and it's gonna brick more than 50% of the time, and one player is gonna be lucky enough to have no interruptions and play really well. And even though it's a deck to watch out for because it's super cheap, I don't think it's like it's a strong deck. Like at the core, it's a weak deck, and it's a very linear and very telegraphed deck. It has good cards like Harpy's Featherstorm. It's got Shifter. It's probably going to be the only deck that runs Shifter, which could give him some points. But I don't think it's nothing more than a rogue deck. Just don't. Even though it's a good deck, just don't. Like Dark World is FTK. If you win enough die rolls, it's going to be fine with you. But I don't know. It's not it. And Mannadium is like bottom rogue at best. Like it's almost just don't. Almost. Because people can actually top with it, and they do. You need to get the amount of luck that you need to top an event with this is astounding. And unfortunately, I don't like saying this. I don't like seeing it. I think it's super unfortunate that this is the case with Mannadium, but it is. Tier limits. I'm gonna put tier limits here for the next format. I'm a believer. Shifter might be played a little bit less now, and for that reason, I think Tier has a very strong engine to deal with a lot of decks. I'm a believer in Tier. I'm really looking forward to see a lot of innovation with tier limits in Dortmund. Really. Dino is good rogue, very good rogue, like a good player, going second and stuff. Very good rogue choice. Vanquish Soul is probably like the lowest tier 2 possible, and so is Salamangreat. I have news for you guys. 3 Gazelle is not going to do anything to the deck, and the new support is also not going to do anything to the deck. It's not going to help the deck at all. It doesn't, like, you did not miss Gazelle when it was at 1. It did not matter. Your end board is so limited in ceiling that it doesn't matter that you got 3 Gazelle. I do hope you're happy though. This is going to be the tier list in my opinion. I think that we can zoom in here just a little bit to help you guys see it. No, we probably can, so it's fine. I'm going to zoom in the video and the edit, but let me know what you think about this. This is my opinion. These are my takes. Leave it down in the comment below. I think this is going to be a very exciting format in my opinion. I'm really looking forward to Dortmund, and hopefully we have a really good format. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Peace.